Hi, lovelies. Welcome back. So happy to have you guys back. Today is the third day of school resumption for this session, and I feel we need to have a chat. So let's start. Yeah. Are you a teacher newly recruited or you're a returning teacher? Here is me saying, welcome to my channel. So just draw your seats closer, grab a glass of chill drink, and let's chat together. So guys, I was a teacher for several years. Actually started working at Tuffield International Secondary School, which was my very first employment. I was only but an NCE graduate, a fresh one at that. And so, before we started that session, we had a week-long seminar, and one of those sessions, the chairman made his remarks, and he was like, guys, get prepared. Tomorrow we should be welcoming our treasured students. And note that most of them may have traveled to the UK, to the US, Canada, Australia, around the world. So be prepared and be ready to answer questions from places you've never been before. Oh, more. That was when in my mind I was like, see, village girl like me coming to meet international students. But I had no choice than to maintain. And so, guys, the following day, we faced the reality. But there were a few things I did which I feel is going to help a new teacher. After I had sent my lesson notes for marking and assessment, I did something which was a regular practice for me. Before I get into the class, I'll have to give my lesson notes to my colleagues to go through, especially the grammar aspect of it. I'll make sure I give it to a colleague who was teaching English to look through the grammar and be sure everything was in order before I get into the class. And before I step into any class, what I normally do is to say words of prayers before I go in, because I knew I needed a backing, and that was my backing. So I don't know, whatever you believe in, you can just talk to whatsoever you believe in, depending on your own belief. With me, that's what I used to do. And after the class, I kept doing that. Once I was done with that class, I'll get to the next one whenever it's my lesson period. But guys, I had this little fear, and which was the fear of the fact that I wasn't sure the students really used to understand my lesson. Why did I have that fear? Inexperience. Because the very experience I had was the experience I had during my teaching practice, which is not good enough to call an experience. But the rest of the staff had a long period of practice, which I never had. And so whenever they're discussing in the staff room, I had little or nothing to share. And that's really built up the fear in me. Am I really doing the right thing? Or are the children learning from me? And so this thing pushed me one day to do something. What did I do? I had to corner a few students after the class, and I'll ask them, guys, here today, I am not your regular teacher. For this very moment, I am talking to you as a friend. Please give me sincere response. Whenever I teach in the class, do you guys normally understand my lessons? That was one. So if you both will say yes, how about other students? What do you say about my lessons whenever I come to class to teach? Please tell me sincerely what you guys have experienced. Please do not lie to me. It's good. Your sincerity will surely help me improve. They smiled. They said, Ma'am, you are one of our best teachers. I was like, this is not what I'm looking for. So I said, okay. Since I tried persuading them and they kept saying the same thing, I told them, all right, guys, times go back to the class. I kept on like that, sampling opinion from one class to the other, until the only time I was able to rest a little bit was after they had written external exams and their results came out and they registered 100% passed in my subject. That was the only time I knew I was doing the right thing. So I fired on. I was always at the library trying to update my information, trying to compare past questions. We had past questions from other schools that the school brought us at that time. I was digesting all these past questions. Whenever I go to the class, those were the questions I was putting up to the students just to prepare them. And I continued like that. Guys, I did not just teach. I got to know students individually. I got to listen to their problems, tried a little best to solve their problems, and with that, we started bonding. Not in this sense kind of bonding. We still had our boundaries as teachers and students. You should understand what I mean. So the time I was made a class teacher, the bond increased. I was very close to my students. I got to know my students personally. I knew them. I knew their issues. Apart from knowing their names, I got to know how to treat them because I got to study them properly. And that really gave me an advantage over managing the class. So we set some boundaries. We had a meeting with my class students and we agreed on what we should not do, what we should do and what we shouldn't do as students in that class, of that class. And even when we started having our snacks distribution and when others are having issues with snacks distribution, it never used to be our problem because we already set a standard on how our snacks were to be distributed. You know, guys, one of those days, the school sent me to accompany some students to Ghana, and I left my students for 1 full week. Guys, guess what? When I came back, the remarks I got from other teachers were amazing. They said, Madam, what do you do to your students that even in your absence, I went to teach in that class, it was as though you were present. I laughed. I said my spirit was with them. Guys, should I let you know that I was not just teaching the students. I taught their emotions. I taught every aspect of their life. I got to know them individually. I got to know their problems. I got to solve their problems for them. Some of them at the time usually return to school without certain things. Even without bothering the parents and bothering the school, I used to provide those things that were within my reach for them. A lot of them are following me. A lot of my colleagues who knew about some of the things I'm saying here, or most of the things I'm saying here, are following me as well. So I'm not here to make do. Rather, what I'm saying here are pure truth. And so, guys, what am I saying at this very point? Do not just go to the class to teach. All you need to drive you is not qualification. It's not your paper qualification. Even if you had a first class, your first class is not good enough if you do not have a passion for teaching. So you need to have that drive. You need to have that passion to be able to impact knowledge to the students. Guys, do you know what? Our students know us even better than we know ourselves. They know when you are real. They know when you're just working to make money. They know it. So why not just do this job? This is an opportunity for you to impact life. Why not impact life? Should I shock you that I used to go out of my way to talk to the students during their prep classes? I will be going class by class to admonish these students. There was a time I noticed that the guys were not performing as well as the girls were. So I took it upon myself without anyone asking me to do so. I was moving one class to the other, admonishing the male students, trying to ginger them to step up. And I tell you, it yielded. I'm not saying borrow my style, but if it's good enough for you to borrow, why not? Guys, dress properly. Do not dress to kill. Just be formal, be neat, be decent, smell good. And those are the things that will endear you to the students. You see one thing? Do not blanket a group of students and tag them bad. Once you believe in your heart that a certain group of students are bad, no amount of preaching will change your approach towards that student. Just be open-minded. Approach them the way they are. Use your approach. Do not listen to what other people say about them. Experience them yourself. Your approach might not be the same approach the other people used. You might be lucky to unlock what others did not see in them. I'm not saying pamper the students. I'm not saying spoil the students. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm trying to say is that do the right thing. Go beyond classroom teaching. Get to know them. Get to solve their problem. Do not call the names their parents did not give to them. All those, understand what I mean. Do not call them names that they are not. Remember one thing. Whatever you say to a child today goes with that child. Some of those things you say to them may make them or may mar them. Some of the children may not forget that sentence you made in anger, and they may carry it throughout their life. And you know what that means. The repercussion might not be what you want. So try to be nice with your words, but punish every form of indiscipline according to your school rules and regulations. You see those children in your care? They are little angels. They can open doors for you, and they can shut your destiny for life. It's not a curse, but that's reality. Just get to know that it could be through those children your doors of destiny will be made open for great things. Do your best. Teach them well. Do not be happy to have a child in your class fail every time and you just think that the person is good for nothing. It's a lie. Probably that person needs a little love from your own part. I was going through a particular Top Faith International School WAEC results, the just concluded results. There is a particular result I saw amongst the top achievers that gladdens my heart. When that child started in junior secondary, he wasn't counted amongst the first 100 in his class, but he made it to the honor roll. Just a little care, a little love can unlock a child. Don't label them. Remember that the greatest injustice you can do to a child is to leave a child who deserves punishment to go unpunished. So whoever deserves punishment, let such a child go for it. But be careful. Sometimes what we think about certain situations may not play out so. Use your sense of discernment. It helps, especially in teaching. Ask colleagues, share information with colleagues in other schools about the subjects you're teaching. Get to know how they're going about it. It can help you. Remember, you are in that school on an assignment to groom a future leader, an assignment to rebrand a child, an assignment to stand in as a parent, an assignment to water and make sure you groom the child to become a global leader. Please, guys, do your best. Whenever you feel like not continuing, please quit. Do not just continue struggling because you just need the salary. Once you feel you can no longer do what you are asked to do genuinely, from your heart, sacrificially, please, it's time for you to quit. On the whole, if you do it well, you receive your reward. I am a living testimony. I have received rewards and I'm still receiving, and I'll still continue to receive my rewards of being a teacher. So guys, you are not just pouring water on a dry ground. Keep doing what is good. Keep grooming these children. Keep being the best. Keep listening to them. Keep helping them. And I promise, the heavens will smile at you. Thank you.